Let's jump in and get started. So if you're new to these sessions with us, we've been doing these for many years, and we're always using the same strategy here, which is looking at the market's real supply and demand, focusing on where banks and financial institutions are buying and selling so we can buy and sell there also. Let's jump in and start executing the strategy. If I have my big list of markets here, if you have markets that you want to go over, then we could certainly do that too. I've got plenty to look at, but again, if you have a market you want to look at, we could certainly do that. If you have any questions, you can certainly ask in the chat. And there are plenty of videos, probably hundreds of videos you can watch on this, on what we go over here, both on the Online Trading Academy website, I think on the FX Street website, and of course there's plenty on YouTube. All right, sure. You want to start with the euro? We can do that. And here it is. Actually, if it's okay, I just want to start with one market before we get to that one, and that's the dollar. So for those of you who've been with us for many, many years, the dollar is always the key chart for us in these FX Street sessions. And it's very rare that we don't properly identify a larger time frame turning point and market move. What we're dealing with now are these levels that we put in. We actually put these in years ago here in FX Street. And I've been going over them the last few sessions as well. Up at the 103.40 area for the dollar, we ran into that first supply zone. Price hung out up there for a little while. And now we're falling from that level. But I just want to remind you of this level, and you'll see when I scroll to the right in a minute, but we'll be able to use this level again. And then, of course, eventually, once price gets above that level, there's another nice supply level sitting just above that. So unbelievably fantastic trading in the FX markets. For those of you who've been with us in the last few sessions, were you able to execute a trade off this level? I know this has kind of been our focus market and level in the last few sessions, either shorting the dollar or probably more importantly buying some other currencies that were coming into demand zones. If you were, great. If not, let's stay on it and get with it. On the demand side, the dollar did run into some demand on a very small time frame, but let me actually take you down to a couple of very small time frames, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. And we'll start here with the on the supply side. You can see we've got some supply up here, so. So the dollar should continue to, fall from here with its demand zone. If and when it gets above that, though, there's really not a whole lot of fresh supply until above 101. But when we look to the left to see where the demand is, where we have other demand, I'm just going to put a horizontal line right here. Scroll left, and you can see that's what we ran into. Prior to that, we've got this big pivot low here, which really, messes up the charts quite a bit. But below that, I don't even know that we're going to get there. But then we've got a number of levels of demand down there. But that's much lower than current price. Dollar's not likely to get there that quick. So, but the dollar's doing exactly what it should do. The charts have been extremely clear there. Okay. Let's go. So having said that, again, now let's look at the euro, and the dollar chart, really helps put everything into context. So given that, demand is lower in the dollar, that means that supply should be higher in the euro. So obviously on the weekly, daily, even the 4-hour, you're not going to see much supply anywhere close to current price. So I go to this 60-minute chart, And we're going to have to go to, obviously a much smaller time frame when we do that. So, this area right in here, small time frame, let's get there. We'll set up a trade. This should be fine. Yeah, maybe not. Well, the euro will probably turn. If you're looking to, day trade the euro, again, we're already down to a tiny time frame. But entering a position right here at the 107.40 with a stop just above this area, so we can put this in. Okay, and it actually started, I'm sorry, just right down here. Here's the origin of the drop right there. Okay, so yeah, let's go back there, and I'd say your initial profit target is at least 3-to-1 off this level. So that's a potential entry of again the 107.40 with a stop. You need to stop at about 70. Okay, so entry at 40, stop at 70. So I'd go for about 3-to-1 there at least, and then I'd look for the demand below. You'll probably have more. There'll probably be more room than just 3-to-1. So I would look for more than 100 pips off that move. Make sense? All right, let's keep going. On the demand side, yeah, that's the thing. You don't really have a whole lot until, down here. So not that close to current price, but this would qualify as a really strong level, 106.20. So we'd be looking for this area right here. Again, if you're familiar with our odds enhancer scoring system, this would score out. I know it doesn't look like a great level, but this would score out as a very high probability area. And we can get into details why a little bit later. Okay. And yeah, other than that, not a whole lot else to talk about with the euro. Yeah, there you go. Let's see what other markets did you want to look at. And then again, I've got my list here. New Zealand dollars, sure. All right, when we look at the larger time frame, and let me actually pull up the daily here. Let's do this. I almost always start with the the larger time frame chart. So at least on the daily's telling us this market's going higher, not lower. But from where it's at right now, it could certainly fall. But longer term, we've got a really nice demand zone sitting right down here, and then possibly up here. We'll look at a 4-hour chart. But according to the larger time frame, and we'll go down a time frame in a second, you have two what look to be quality demand zones below current price, and quality supply seems to be quite a bit higher. But now let's go down and qualify all that on a smaller time frame, because things can certainly change. Get a little more data in here. little more data. Here's that demand zone, by the way, below current price. Doesn't look bad. I can't do much with the chart till the data comes in, but that should be pretty quick. You might be looking above and saying, yes, we do have a rally base. Oh, there we go. This one, we do have rally-based drop supply up here. So you could get a little bit of a pullback. Remember, this is into a fresh level to the left. So the likelihood is price is going to go higher. Okay. So we'd be looking to buy a pullback to the 71 even area with our stop below, in the like 70-60 range, mid 70, like 70-65 range is where your stop would have to be. Okay. You do have some nice looking supply zones above, but none of them are fresh. So that's why, again, the larger time frame, that daily, was suggesting that after a drop in price, price is likely to, move quite a bit higher. This time frame is supporting that conclusion. Doesn't always work out that way, but this time it is. Yeah, a lot of room to go up. Exactly. All right. And again, any other markets you want to look at, let me know. Otherwise, I can keep going through my list. Why don't we go to the Aussie dollar next? Let's take a look. Get some old levels in this chart. All right, the Aussie dollar, I was looking at it yesterday because it does appear to be into a nice daily supply zone. If we come down to the 4-hour, you'll see you really have sort of two levels above, on top of each other. So we have that zone's there. That one there. There you go. Okay. So there's the Aussie dollar. The challenge, though, so price can certainly fall out of this level. The challenge, though, is that means the dollar is going to go up, and the dollar chart is still telling us prices are much likely to go lower than higher. So, you've got to be careful with that. Also, the lack of a profit zone here with this one is an issue. But again, that's supported by the dollar chart, right? Again, in the dollar, the demand is lower, and we're just coming off that large time frame supply and their smaller time frame supply. So dollar lower, Aussie dollar higher. When they're both coming into opposing zones at the same time, however, that's a very high probability event. Okay. Yeah, we can take a look at oil. Oil is a great market for today to look at. I trade oil quite a bit and was looking at it earlier this morning for a while. So if you day trade oil, these are the two areas that we are looking at. In fact, there's three levels on top of each other. I'll show them to you here. I've been looking at this chart all morning. There's that level. So instead of putting in 4 lines, I'm just going to combine both areas. Well, let me just do this because I know there's some new people with us. There's that one. Peter. I think because I've been looking at it for over a decade, and if you've been with us for a while, it's like we get it right pretty much every time with the larger time frame DXY. So I'm just hesitant to switch to anything else. It's just worked great for us, but no big reason other than no big reason other than that. That makes sense. So we do have so there's this level right here too. You're probably saying, why are we ignoring this level? We're not. This level can look at it, how prices are rallying now. This level seems fine. I know for our supply demand grid, if you're familiar with that, we have these two. We've combined these two levels up here and taken those. But as a day trader, you'd probably have to be quick on this one. This one just below, and it's actually almost there. So you're probably looking at about 52.80, and you need to stop about 52. I'd say 91. Just make sure you're definitely above that. So 80 to 91, so it's 11 cents in oil. Again, that's if you're actively trading oil. Yes, in the larger time frames, that's where oil gets exciting. So my position in oil, and I know it's probably not a popular one, is you have all this news out of OPEC, and you have, I think it's Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, everyone, all the big players and professionals in the world out telling us how oil's going so much higher and up into the 60s and all that. I don't see that. To me, the chart is showing almost the opposite picture. And again, if all those groups are so bullish oil, why isn't it going up, right? When you do get a little bit higher, I think oil could probably maybe rally a little bit from here. It could just as easily fall. But my point is, if it does rally a little bit more, you're going to be getting into some quality supply zones that you could see over here, right around starting around 57. I'm sorry, really 56.50. There's a nice little level that starts here, 56.50. And the smaller time frames, I just showed you the really small time frame, but even bigger, smaller time frames, we're already seeing supply zones develop. So, those aren't opinions or anything. That's just the chart showing you that, hey, there's a lot of orders. A lot of people have orders to sell at these prices. Makes sense? We had a great level up here we were looking at yesterday and today at Online Trading Academy, the 53.70. The price could barely get there this morning, barely. All right. So you can see what oil's done now. This is why like I said, we had these two levels on the grid. So Online Trading Academy members that took that trade are in that trade. But again, for them, we just combine both these levels. That's why I put it out there for you. Okay. All right. And we're down to a 2-minute chart just because you won't see these levels on a bigger time frame. Okay. So that's kind of the bigger picture, and yeah, demand is much lower. At least on the small time frames, it's not even until about 52.25. So it's quite a bit lower from where prices are now. Okay. Yes. Yeah, the stop on the grid that we produce, the supply demand grid, is above both levels. Looks big, but it's really not. It's a 2-minute chart. It's actually a really small level. So it's like 20, 30 cents there. Yep, we can move on from this one. Anybody enter this trade? If you're in this trade, I would just leave it alone, let it play out. I would also play for a move all the way back down. This one looks like it can, has the opportunity for about 3 to 1, or stopping out for a very small loss. Yes, correct. We combine them into one. Here's gold. It's actually not a whole lot to talk about in gold other than this little 5-minute chart. Let me just share it with you here. This little supply zone just developed up here. So we'll see what happens. What I'm getting at is this one right here. Let me just clean this up a little bit. There we go. So it looks like someone's got a lot of gold to sell right up here. We'll see. This is also a drop-based drop, so not one of our highest probability levels. Okay. Remember, the rally-based drop and drop-based rally are the levels that are found out at the extremes. Okay. But just above, 1 point higher, 12.15 is that supply. And if you're new to gold and don't regularly trade this market, be careful. Don't just jump into this. This is a big, big money market. Is gold into daily supply? Yeah, so that's the, I'm glad you asked that because we've been going over this at Online Trading Academy. While we do have some nice supply zones here, the fact that the dollar hits supply and has room to fall would keep us out of that type of trade on those daily levels. Okay, so we wouldn't be shorting those daily levels due to just the clear direction in the dollar. Does that make sense? We really lean on that dollar chart. And again, for those of you that have been with me here at FX Street for 5 years or more, again, you see every year that's what drives by far our best trading is just those dollar levels that are just so key. Make sense? All right. Demand. Yeah, demand is not that far down. In fact, we've got demand sitting about 10 points. We've got some demand about 10 points lower, which is not far. So you get a little rally in the dollar, a little dip in gold, and likelihood is that we'll push higher. Okay. And again, a lot of that is, part of that's based off the gold chart, which is showing us that, and the other part is based off that dollar. Okay. Now, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and it's funny if I were to start over knowing what I know now, probably one of the top things I would do different is I would not look at a whole bunch of markets. I would probably only focus on the dollar and your big picture, daily, weekly levels and turns. I would play those in, maybe the euro or something else, but squarely based off the dollar. I would just trade that dollar chart. In other words, I wouldn't do anything else. Make sense? And this dollar's got lots of room below, lots of room. So any of your commodity markets, your currency markets, that suggests that they have quite a bit of room to rally. All right. Let's keep going. Next market. Again, I've got my... Yeah, for the dollar, it's, I'm looking, usually keep it, it's always the daily chart up in the left corner, but yeah, 4 hour, daily, weekly, super important. So I can, again, keep going over my list of markets, or if you have a market you want to go over, just let me know and we can take a look at it. And if all we do today is go over the markets you want to look at, that's fine too. I usually lead the way, so I'm happy for you to do it. Okay, here is the pound. So again, the pound is going to take its cue from the dollar, right? Like any of the others. And again, the pound looks like it's into supply here. It has fallen back a little bit, but let's see here. I was just looking at another time frame. Yeah, but we do have some demand levels below. Let's go to a little bit smaller time frame. Yeah, when we look below in the pound, a little bit of a dip. We have a nice demand zone sitting just down here. So pound comes down to the 122, call it 50. Likely to turn higher here. And then again, that means dollar lower. So this level, if ideally you'd want your stop just below the 122, just below 122.10. Okay. Right? Again, pound dips into demand, rallies, because you don't have a whole lot of supply above, and then that brings the dollar down, and that's what the dollar chart is suggesting it's going to do. All right, let's keep going here and looking. This market is certainly on the move here, but where is it likely to drop to? Let's go to our, you look at the daily chart here. It looks like we do have some demand sitting just below, but let's confirm that with the 4 hour. And yeah, even with the 4 hour, again, this level is going to be tough to get through. It's first time back into this level. Whoops. Again, when we put our supply and demand zones or lines in, we do it all based on a very specific set of rules. So there, chart is telling us banks are big buyers in this area. And again, we still have a little ways to go to get down there. Notice the first time back to this area, price could not get there. That's a pretty big clue as to how big the supply-demand imbalance is at the level. All right. And then as for a target, you're looking up about 87, so that's quite a bit of room before you hit any trouble. Not quite 3 to 1. Let's see. Well, maybe 3 to 1. Okay. Now, smaller time frames, we just don't have any supply until higher than where we're at now, but we can pull that up. Yeah, nothing really to talk about now. That stuff is just, again, much higher. All right, we've gone over a number of markets. Any others you want to take a look at? Natural gas, sure. Again, great market to trade, great levels, great movement. Let's pull up natural gas. All these lines are from a trade that we took at Online Trading Academy here. I think we had this in FX trade too, just buying in demand here, and there's that target. If we do happen to get a dip in natural gas, I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon, but if we do, this is level just keep on our charts. We may keep it on there for weeks. We may keep it on there for months or longer. But this one, again, would score out fairly high with our odds enhancer scoring system. It's not rally-based drop or drop-based rally, which are high probability out at the extreme type levels, but price could get there. Okay, we're getting quite a bit of movement in natural gas. All right, that's the larger time frame. We could go smaller, and let's do that. I almost saw a supply zone here on the 4-hour, but on the 60, we can see we've already been back there. Yeah, I'm looking at the 60. It's let's go down one more time frame just to be sure. This market actually looks lower, and I know that kind of goes against what we've been saying with the dollar. And I also know price did come back and just, barely touch this level. But again, that's a clue. That's a good thing. The other reason, and really the other reason I put this level in, and there's a level above it, is because there's no quality demand anywhere close to current price. It's much lower. Just because you have a quality supply and demand zone doesn't mean you have a trading opportunity. We need fresh, quality supply and demand levels and nice big profit zones. That is all we're looking for. And again, it's a very rule-based process to identify that and execute the trade, but that, at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. Okay. A target on this one, I would look to be just above here. So maybe the 3170. I know it's a big target, so not high probability that you're going to hit this target, but this is where the chart is suggesting the target should be. So we know we want to listen to the chart. Okay. Yeah, that does look like a big profit zone, but we're already down to a 30-minute chart, so it kind of is what it is. Another thing I've learned is, don't overthink things. Right? Okay. Let's take a look at a couple more here. I've got some for you. Let's just go back to, hang on a second. This gold keeps bouncing around. Well, not really. It's not. Can't even get any kind of rally there. Oil's just sitting up here in our level. So get another chance to possibly get in it. And again, for all of these markets to fall, the dollar's going to have to go higher, including all those currency markets we looked at. But like we keep saying, the dollar chart is still very bearish. Big time frame, smaller time frame, you name it. It's the chart is screaming bearish. Okay. So again, watch that level on the 60-minute natural gas. This level can hit even today. Today, tomorrow, overnight. Yeah, typically that new level will not develop before the level you're looking at if you understand how to identify levels. Because if you have, let's say you have a strong move away from an area, you're going to have almost that same move back into that area. Okay, if there's nothing to stop that move away from the area, you're not going to develop something to stop a move to that area. Remember, at each price point and all these supply and demand levels, they're where they're at because of another supply demand level's existence. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. But all right, so I think we're good. With that, there's my email address. If you have any questions or need any help, just let me know, sseiden@tradingacademy.com. Happy to help where I can. And hope everybody has a great day. We'll do another one of these sessions really soon. Again, if you're having any challenges achieving your trading or financial goals, shoot me an email and I'll try to help you again where I can. All right, have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you again soon.